Get them up. There we are. Rise and shine, sunshine. That doesn't flow very well. Oh well. Hi. You got a lot on your mind? Go ahead. Let's hear it. Where are you? A good question. Probably the right question, all things considered. You're in my, let's call it company's estate. Do you know who I am? Wow, go figure. I guess Daddy kept you sheltered all this time. Well, I'll keep things simple. Don't want to hurt your little head, especially when it's all groggy like this, and especially when it's difficult to think as you're tied up at the moment. But you've had the honor of keeping me company. See, your daddy, he runs a business, as I'm sure you're well aware. Makes good money, too. Turns heads, gets attention, goes on the news, occasionally even on TV. Made quite a name for himself, actually. I'm sure you might have picked up on the fact that Daddy Dearest only made this such in the last 2 years or so, right? Good, good. I'm glad we're at least on the same page. Well, you'll be surprised to know that most of that explosion of wealth and opportunity given to him was thanks to my, let's call it charitable donations. But see, it wasn't just a donation, it was an investment. I invested in your father, and I expected a return. That's typically how these things go. I pay for goods and services, and yet he doesn't seem to want to provide when the time has run up. Especially when I ask so little of him, but, well, not only do I have a business to run, a group to consult, wheels to keep churning, but I also have a reputation to uphold. And see, I can't have somebody simply spit in my face and let it slide. A loan shark. Do I really look like a loan shark? No, dear. You're close, but not quite on the money. I do so much more than simply loan money. I invest in this city. I keep its wheels turning. I make sure things go smoothly. I make sure that what crime does get committed doesn't bubble up too much, too hard. I keep those lowly thugs in line. I make sure that when girls work the corner, they do so safely, relatively speaking. And I always get my cut. There you go. Smart thing. I'm glad to hear it. Would have hated to have to go into any further explanation. Because, well, at the moment, you have value. And the thing I appreciate most about anyone right now is their value. See, Daddy Dearest loves you so much, and you mean so much to him. And because of that, well, you can be put into a position of leverage. You can be used. Exactly. You're simply a tool, a means to an end. That being said, you are also an expensive tool. Having you here creates issues, arouses suspicion, costs money to feed, clothe, and house you. and to keep watch over you. I'd rather not have to expend any more money on you, keeping you drugged up and unable to even speak, let alone take care of yourself. It'd be purposely very wasteful, and I'd rather avoid it if I could. So, are you going to be a good little hostage and behave? Or am I going to have to bring in my doctor? Good. Very good. You see, I can't have you, well, thinking you're some kind of hero or protagonist from some superficial fantasy novel or some such nonsense that you might read. Yes, I'm very well aware of what you read. I like to make sure I know lots about the things that I bring into my home, or at least one of my homes. Yes, I do actually live here. You just happen to be seeing a less beautiful version of it. One of the uglier sides of it, we'll say. I'm not always perfect with words. I tend to let my actions normally speak for me, but sometimes explanations and being upfront and honest with others is the better mode to go down. So, let's talk. You are useful here at the moment because you matter to Daddy Dearest, and he decided that he didn't want to fulfill his end of the bargain. So instead, I took things into my own hands and brought you here against your will. You're going to make a few videos for him. We're going to send them, and then we're going to wait. And if he still doesn't want to comply, we can figure that out when we get there. Your daddy does love you, does he not? Good. Very good to hear. So, purposely, I'd rather avoid consuming way too much of my funds in order to keep you in a drug-addled haze, even so bad that you simply can't even record any of these videos for me. And I believe in a more give and take system of the world. A pretty thing like you shouldn't be completely caged without merit, so prove to me that you can be trusted, and I will give you more and more leniency while you are here. Prove to me that you can be useful, and you will remain in my good graces. And while you are in my good graces, you get rewards. Nicer meals, warm showers, a nice soft bed to sleep on instead of the cold hard ground down here. So we're going to test this theory right now. I'm going to remove the bindings on your arms. Depending on how you behave after that is entirely up to you, and it will dictate your future here. Am I understood? I'd like to hear you say it. Good. Very good. There we are. Go ahead, rub your wrists. Stand up, take a look around. What is my name? Too many to count, but for your purposes here and now, you may call me Valencia. Has a nice ring to it, I think. One of the fonder ones that I have. Some of my previous lovers enjoyed it quite a bit. My, is that a blush? Oh, don't tell me you find me attractive, do you? And remember, I abhor liars. Good. I'm glad you can speak to me honestly. It's a very good sign. When we're done here, and once you've done your task, I'll even be able to let you out of your room here. I can take you upstairs, get you something nice to eat. I'm sure you must be starving. And then I can escort you to your new room. Or at least I can have Dave here do that for you. He'll be the one recording after all and making sure that you're compliant, relatively speaking. I can't leave you completely alone to your devices to wander the mansion alone. After all, who knows what sort of devious tasks you'd get up to? Yes. Well, in the interest of full transparency, I'd like to answer at least some of your questions that you might have. Let's say 3. You can ask me 3 things. I'll answer to the best of my ability here in this moment. And then you'll move on, take care of your tasks, and then come upstairs and join me for lunch. Go ahead. What did your father ask for? Well, he was one of my more simple clients. Money, primarily. And a few small favors, most of which involved a few bribes here and there. It's simply just me slipping a few more extra sets of coins in a few pockets, showing a few scantily awful devious photographs, getting people in line to be more malleable to his influence. With that, he took his rise, and I asked for a stipend, a bit of his income, a portion of his gain that he'd achieved over the last 2 years. And do you know what he told me? Fuck off. Frankly, I think he should consider himself lucky that all I've done is kidnap their child. Were it anyone else, and anyone less valuable to me, I'd simply have them beheaded and their heads sent to their loved ones. Make no mistake to me, dear, I may be kind to you in this moment, but I am far, far from a good person. I'm aware of this, and I don't give a shit. I'm happy with how my life is. And that's what matters. You have 2 more. What's going to happen to you if he doesn't pay back? It's a good question, and it depends. Depends on you, darling. How you behave is going to dictate your future if things don't exactly pan out beyond these walls. Misbehave, make my life difficult, and I will make yours very, very short. Behave, do well, earn my satisfaction, and I may hold on to you. I could have a use for a pretty thing like you. I could think of quite a few, actually. That is the best question you've asked yet, pet. How do you know that you can trust me? And it's my favorite answer. You don't. You just have to learn to obey. Now, here's your script. Look it over, deliver it honestly, put on a good performance. And if you do, Dave will take you upstairs. If I don't see you again, I'll assume that, well, things just didn't pan out, you know? Have fun, darling. I'll see you soon. Hi there. Thank you so much for listening to the first episode of Taken by a Mafia Don. I hope you enjoyed this little treat, and if you'd like to see more, please let me know down below. And if you had any comments or questions or compliments or complaints, I'd love to hear about them down below. I love reading every single one of your comments. If you want to see more adult-themed content, you can check out my Patreon down below in the description. And with that said, I hope you have a lovely morning, evening, or afternoon.